A lot of people that come here go to the museums, they go to all the monuments and go shopping and stuff like that. And for me, the only way to understand a culture and a country is get down the restaurants and get in the markets. That's the way. It's the only way. This is like the big central market. What's nice, if you look down here, you get different specialists. It's kind of quite nice to come to sort of like a big capital city, yet the public demand to buy their stuff daily from here. Okay, right. This street here specialises in souvlaki. Souvlaki means little skewer in Greek, and it's a big deal here. This is one of the most ancient forms of cooking, so this is the place to go, I am told, so I'm going to check it out.
You have to wear your hat as well.
Yeah, go for it. I want to look the part. I want to look like one of the brothers. What is this, a mincemeat?
It's lamb and beef.
Lamb and beef. Okay, well, let's see this famous dish then. I want to see it. So you get your flatbread.
Pull it out.
You got the lovely kebab there. So what, you just put that on here? Okay.
That's the one.
Okay. So this is parsley and onions.
Yeah. Yes. It sweetens the onion.
Any vinegar or lemon juice?
No, just like that.
Okay.
And then some salt.
Go for it.
And then some paprika.
Yeah. My God. You see how fast he was? You must be very good at the making love, yes? My God. Let's have a race.
So, one souvlaki from each one of you, starting now, please. I can't take this to the classroom.
Is this a problem? Have I just been sacked?
But you're a good student, you know, you learn fast. That's important. You learn fast.
Oh, man. Okay, right, okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be it.
Very fast.
It is okay. Thank you.
That's a souvlaki. That's a souvlaki.
My friend, it's a pleasure to work with you. Cheers, brother. So here we go. This is a very famous herb shop here in Athens, and you know, this is like my heaven. Do you know what I mean? Surrounded by herbs. I mean, I'm into herbs, but the Greeks are definitely into their herbs. You know, be it for food, be it medicinal, be it for teas and stuff like that. This is a wild oregano?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that whole drawer of it. Wow. And you use dried mint quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I have mint, wild mint here.
Is that a wild mint?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Smell it.
Oh my Lord. I've never seen a wild mint with such beautiful flowers.
Yeah. This is from near from Athens, from my land, Egina.
Right. Egina?
From Egina, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going there tomorrow.
Okay.
What is it nice?
It's very, very nice. It's very nice island.
And how would you use this sort of mint?
For chickens, meats. Some people use it in ice creams.
And what about tzatziki? Do they use fresh mint or the dry mint? This
Dry.
one. So this is good for that.
This is
brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
welcome,
I'll
sir.
take those if that's all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.
All the best. Okay, right, how cool is this? I want to cook some kebabs on the rooftop, looking at that, one of the most iconic buildings in the world, the Acropolis. Brilliant. Here, I've got a bunch of chili peppers. Some are hot, some are sweet. I've just blackened them up. By blackening these little babies, you intensify the flavour of the pepper, you sweeten it, the skin will come off and leave you with the most incredible flavour. So I'm just going to put it under this tablecloth here. I've got this lovely piece of pork here. It's kind of like the shin cut of pork, and I'm literally just going to slice it up into little pieces, just over 1 centimetre thick. I'm going to slice it across about 2 centimetre dice. I think there's a bit of a lesson to be learnt from the Greeks, actually. I think this whole kind of simple cooking, simple flavours is really interesting. So, just wash my hands. I'm going to marinate these little babies using dried herbs. And you know what? For years and years, I used to look at the supermarket, you know, because I'm well into my herbs, love me fresh herbs, but I'd go around the supermarkets and I'd look at dried mint, and I'd think it was a bit like naff. But I'm going to give it a go. I've never really used it before, so I've scrunched my bunch here. And then I've got the oregano, scrunch a bit there, some pepper, some salt. You know, ideally I'd let this marinate for like 3 hours, 6 hours, overnight, get the flavours really going in there. Lemon juice goes in, 1 lemon for a kilo of meat like this is probably fine. Nice Greek olive oil, just enough to coat it, and then a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm just going to use a grater to do this. Just stick to it at one corner. You could do it in a pestle and mortar, but I'm going to use that in a minute for some more garlic. Scrunch that up. Right, so I've got my meat here. Just load it up on a skewer. When I did history, my teacher, Mr. Nash, I got an ungraded in history, just so you know. I did it on the Acropolis. I just can't believe that all these years later I'm cooking on a rooftop where I'm staying, looking at that phenomena, and I'm sort of feeling the Greek love, actually. I've got to be honest, and I'll tell you why. Because back in the day, I didn't really care about history. I just wanted to get a bunk up, and like, I didn't care that that building was like God knows how many thousand years old. And you know, since I've been in Greece, I've already found out that this barbecue here that I'm using right now, you know, predates, this predates that building, do you know what I mean? This is their mobile cooking unit. They even had ones with a little dome over it for flatbreads or some kind of pizzeria type thing. And, you know, all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, like, history's quite cool now. Right, I'm going to put these straight on the grill. I'll just give them a twiddle every now and again. They'll take about 7.5 minutes to cook, I reckon. So these peppers, they've just steamed a little bit, and then you take most of the blackness off. If there's a few bits in there, it doesn't matter. There's a bit of flavour in there. Obviously, too much of the black, and it doesn't become flavour, it becomes burntness. And then just take the seeds out. Cooking on charcoal, I think, is actually 1/3 of the flavour in this dish, so don't underestimate it. And I'm going to use the fresh herbs with this chili dish I'm doing to go with the kebabs, just to sort of like spring a bit of flavour in there, and a bit of freshness. And I'm sort of making this up, really. I'm going to roll the fennel and mint up in a ball and just finely slice it like that. And then all I'm going to do is just tear these chilies into strips like this. And obviously, if there's ones that you know are hotter, you can tear them into sort of smaller bits and distribute them a bit. Put that in the middle there. I'm going to put the herbs in the middle there as well. I'm going to hit it with what I think is the right amount of salt. It doesn't need pepper because it is already going like the clappers. Red wine vinegar. Probably, you know, for that amount of chilies, it's probably a couple of tablespoons. Little bit of olive oil. I'm just going to just dress it. And you can apply that to something that you'd put on top of a frittata, a pizza. You could put that on a crostini with a bit of mozzarella and a salad. But let's have a little taste up here. It should be like... Oh, yeah. That's good. Oh, it's got some heat as well. Sweet and heat. How are these going? Oh, come on. See what I'm doing with these kebabs? I'm really trying to love them and take care of them and look for the paler bits going on the bottom to get the heat. So, pork skewers, bit of love there. Peppers and chilies, bit of love there, big flavours, really fresh. And then tzatziki. Get yourself 1 cucumber or 2 of these little babies. Just grate it. There you go. Some grated cucumber. Right, what I want to do there is season that cucumber. Pick it up in a handful and just squeeze that excess water out. You want about the same amount of yogurt as cucumber. And then garlic. I prefer to be a bit subtle on the garlic. I'm going to use 1 clove, right? Put your salt in, put the garlic in, and just smash it up. And I really think that, you know, by smashing up the garlic and the salt like this, it makes it sort of slightly sweeter. And actually what you could do is actually put some of that dried mint in there. That's never going to hurt. So in with that garlic. And also, you know, when you start mixing this up and tasting it, you know, you tweak it to your personal preference. Give that mint a mix up. You want to hit it with just enough red wine vinegar to give it a little kick, you know. And again, it's about tasting it. Think about it. Get the salt right. Beautiful. Right, tzatziki's done. There you go. Look at those. They're nice little kebabs, they're cute. Just give them a nice little squeeze of lemon juice, a little extra seasoning of salt, a little bit of olive oil on that tzatziki, just to sort of fold it through. Right, so I've got my flatbread here. Let's plate this little baby up. Got the beautiful skewer. Just gonna push that onto the flatbread, like so. Beautiful. Gonna take some of this lovely chili and pepper and just put that over it like that. Just 1 nice dollop of that amazing homemade tzatziki. I tell you what, it tastes so different when you do it properly, and the dried mint is wicked. And then I'm gonna take the liberty of putting some extra paprika over it just to give it that hit. Okay, and then a little bit of lemon juice. Look at that. Really, really chuffed with that. I mean, like, every single thing that we cooked here was dead simple kebab, simple sort of flavourings on the chilies and the peppers. The tzatziki was dead easy. But, you know, it's a little assembly of beautiful things. And that, around someone's house, load of beers, cook your own kebab, would be just wicked. Absolutely wicked. One of the things that Greece is most famous for is its honey. That's cute. You've got like a midriff one. I've got the full outfit and you've got a midriff.
Yeah.
It's cute. You look cute in that.
Bikini.
Yeah. So we put the bay leaf and grass in these little smokers. They got the little bellows there.
I put first a little bit smoke.
Yeah.
By this way, the bees know how it's gonna get the fire.
You're just using your hands. You got no gloves on. Why have I got all this on and you're?
Because we don't know if you are allergic in bees.
Oh no, I'm not allergic.
When the honey is ready, they close with the wax also on the top.
Yeah.
That means it's ready, but in the middle is empty.
Yeah. I just find it amazing, like, that bees know how to make that honeycomb in that beautiful shape. So clever. How long did bees live for?
The bees, they live 60 days.
So,
all the life long, one bee, you make 1 gram of honey.
one bee.
One bee.
So you can tell this is ready because more than
It's
3/4
closed, yeah.
is closed. A lot of the bees that he's putting here are getting lost because obviously they go and get their pollen from the flowers and then they have to sort of be able to get home, navigate home. But he reckons, and he's pretty certain, that because of the mobile phone antennae, that's why they're getting lost. And he said, whenever I've got bees in an area where I've got no reception on my phone, they don't go missing. And then whenever I go to an area where there is, then he loses nearly 2/3 of his bees.
Αντώνη, πώς το λένε, κράτα το...
Αυτό.
There's something quite sensual about eating honey like this, because you put it in your mouth and you like use your tongue to sort of squash it, and all these beautiful little capsules like pop, 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 and then you get this incredible sort of warm honey.
When the boys make a sex with their mother,
Oh my God!
they
They have sex with their mother,
yeah. In one box, it is only one mother.
and she makes love to her sons.
So one time of the year, when the new mother coming out, they go with 20 to 55 boys.
Right.
Also, those boys, they die after a minute.
Well, of making love to her.
Yeah. Because all of the genetic organs from the boys stay to the behind of the mother.
My God, they leave their penis with her.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly.
Is this what
As
happens?
you say.
When I die
Yes.
and I'm reincarnated, I don't want to be a male bee. Okay, I want to make a delicious Greek tin-baked cake made out of pistachios and honey. I've collected the honey myself, and I'm going to cook it here in this beautiful place, looking at this wonderful view in a pistachio grove. So it's a pistachio and honey cake. It's pretty simple, it's got about 10 ingredients or so. I've got 5 free-range eggs. The thing I like about this cake, apart from it's delicious, is the fact that you can whack it all in a bowl. You know, there's no sort of separate, you know, whipping of egg whites or mucking around. You literally get it all in a bowl, you whisk it all up, and it works. I've got 225 grams of lovely Greek yogurt, 225 grams of caster sugar, and then I'm going to use 75 grams of ground almonds. And you know, having ground almonds in desserts out here is lovely. You get great flavour. Then I'm going to have the zest of 1 lemon, just to give it that nice citrus flavour, and the orange. 150 grams of plain flour goes in. Back on the scales. 200 grams of semolina. 1 levelish teaspoon of baking powder goes in. 200 millilitres of olive oil. And you don't want a really peppery olive oil, a nice sort of mild, creamy olive oil. Gonna mix it all up. And that's it. I'm just gonna put a little olive oil into it like that. Use your hands all around the edge. And then to sort of make it non-stick, just add a little flour. And then just jiggle it about. And the mix goes in. And it's as simple as that. The lovely thing about this pudding as well is you'll get a good couple of days out of it. So get it all out. I love the idea of really embracing the olive oil as well. And you know, that'll be unusual, but you know, how much healthier is it to use olive oil instead of butter as well? So what we're going to do now is pop this in an oven at about 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30-35 minutes. Right, so we've got the pudding here. It's been out the oven about an hour, so it's cooled down. It looks lovely, but the exciting bit's going to happen now. We've got the pistachios going into the pan. I'm just going to sort of toast them up a little bit. These are around, oh, about 150 grams go in. Just get something flat or, you know, just to crush. I want to have some whole pistachios and some small bits and some tiny bits to make a little topping. And at this point, I'm going to put about 100 mils of that beautiful honey. It's not the stuff I got today, but it's the stuff from the same guy from last summer, which is his favourite time of the year for honey. And it's going to start just heating up. There you go. You can see the honey's starting to boil now. If I left that, that would go to a caramel. But what I want to do is turn it right down and cut the orange and the lemon that I took the zest off of and put that in now, just to give it that lovely citrus again. The lemon and the orange. What I'm going to do now is go into the sponge with a little knife and just stab into it like that. And what we're basically going to do is make little holes so the syrup can sink into it. Now, there's one thing to remember. If you want the flavour to really go into a beautiful sponge like this, you either need a hot sponge and a cold syrup, or a hot syrup and a cold sponge. And that way, it will get absorbed the most in there. So I'm just going to pour that in like that. And what you want to do is just move this around and let the honey just suck right into the sponge. And it looks quite wet at the moment, but what's quite nice is if you leave this for about 10-15 minutes and keep putting the syrup over the sponge, it'll suck it all up. And what you can do is, if you've got a little puddle of honey in the middle, just go back through there again, and it will soon go. It's probably quite nice to leave it for 10 or so minutes. Let's portion one up anyway. I've got some strawberries here that I've basically squeezed the juice of half an orange in there, just a little tablespoon of, you know, sugar, and you get that lovely glaze and shine on there. Lovely to eat. I've got some Greek yogurt. So let's just cut this little baby. Don't know what the right or wrong way to cut it is, but let's go for it. Hopefully if I did my non-stick right, we'll be laughing. Look at that. Okay, that's a really good example. You can see basically where that beautiful orangey lemony honey syrup has gone right down into the sponge through those little holes we made. And if I put my finger on the pistachios, they'll stick to your finger like that. They're almost like little mini kind of toffee pistachios, right? So I'm going to put that just in the middle of the plate like that. I'm going to get some of that lovely Greek yogurt. And Greek yogurt is some of the best yogurt in the world, isn't it? It's so rich and lovely. Just a dollop like that. And then these strawberries here, just take a nice little spoon there, just to give a bit of freshness. You know, you've got that lovely rich flavours there, just a bit of freshness. It's delicious. And then you know what? I mean, you don't have to do this, there's enough sugar there already, but I can't help just wanting to get just a little slice of that honeycomb, you know, because to go and pick my own honey today, get it myself, yeah, it's really special. I'm just going to put a little piece like that on the side. Lovely. A great little dish. Beautiful. So what you're saying is the lamb was the main course,
Yes,
but the meze was the bull.
the first. So that's why we have it before the main course. And meze in Greek means a small portion.
Okay. I'm starting to fall in love with this Greek cooking, but I don't like the true story. Can you make up another story? Meze story. I don't like the real meze story. Meze rocks. It's great. I love the history of it, the whole idea of little plates. And you know, that whole kind of Greek culture of eating out a lot. You know, whereas in other countries it's all about the home and home food. You know, the Greeks love to eat out. That's a whole part of their sort of social scene. I'm not so sure about the dancing. And that's not mine either, because I've got some great moves. I can show you some great moves. I think dancing of Essex is far superior. Okay, I'm gonna make a really quick Greek salad. And before you start saying, oh, it's a Greek salad, boring, Greek salads are fantastic if you do them properly. I've got a beef tomato there, I've got a medium-sized tomato here, I've got some cherries here. The reason that I'm trying to buy different shapes and sizes is one, to excite, you know, visually, different shapes, sizes, yellow ones if you can get them, you know, different colours, but also you will get different flavours, sweetnesses and textures. Also, important ingredient, cucumber. They've got these beautiful little cucumbers here, and then these lovely fresh, very mild onions over here are great. The classic green, sweet pepper. Dill is something that I've never put in my Greek salads, but they love it over here, and I'm up for it. I've tasted it and I really like it. And mint is something that I personally like in mine. So let's get this going. It's really important to me that we make a point of making this look homemade. Can you see how I've cut these all up, completely different shapes and sizes? The cherry tomatoes, so just slice these in half. One of the nicest things to have for lunch at the weekend for me is like a roasted chicken that I did about an hour ago, a big old Greek salad, you know, some nice bread, glass of wine, and just let everyone get stuck in. I love that. These beef tomatoes, and I think you can go with it, so you see that size, big old slabs like that. Back home in England, I would definitely slice them wafer thin, like this, okay? Because they're quite oniony back home. But here on the islands, somehow the onions are way milder, so you can afford to go, you know, much more chunky, about just under a centimetre thick, and it won't blow you away at all. And then the cucumbers. I like to get a fork, and I like to scratch it up the cucumber, like this. And this does two things. It makes it look a bit more interesting, but it also makes it cling on to seasoning and dressing, okay? And that is what I like to do. Look how lovely those cucumbers look now. About a centimetre thick. And then on the herb front, you know, something that I never did was use dill. And over here, they love it. They absolutely love it. They cook with it, they use it in salads. So I'm just gonna roll the dill up, and I'm just gonna slice it up like this. So I'm just gonna brush that in. Roll up the mint in your hand like that, and that starts to bruise it. And then just clank it up into little slices. And again, brush that in the middle. I've got some nice olives here. They've had the stones taken out. And tell you what I don't like getting an olive with a stone in my salad, because 9 times out of 10 I'll try and bite it and take my teeth out. But also, by squashing it, you can see how it kind of looks rustic, but also you've kind of exposed it to the salad. And obviously olives are a bit salty, they've been salted. But if you squash them like this, what you're doing is you're encouraging the olive itself to season the salad. And that, you know, I think just by squeezing them in your hand like that, you're getting that olive flavour, and I really do think that makes a difference. So, next bit is a green pepper. So I'm going to season it a little bit with nice sea salt. Remember, you've got the salt from the olives in there, but tomatoes and cucumbers do need a bit of love. I've got that red wine vinegar. Again, just a little drizzle of it. And then lovely Greek olive oil. Really what it's about is getting your hands in and sort of dressing it, because the minute that mint and the dill, the salt, the vinegar starts working with all those veg, I think that's when the magic happens in a Greek salad. There we go. We have a little taste. Just try a bit of cucumber. Delicious. This is your time to adjust the vinegar, to adjust the salt. And then all I do now is use feta cheese. Just put a chunk of it like that. And then I might just put a couple of olives or, you know, a few things up against it. And then get that oregano and just put a little bit on top of that feta. And then finish it with some olive oil. And there you go. I mean, for me, that is just a delicious salad. I know it tastes really good. It's really confident. I know it's scruffy, but that's sort of part of the beauty, I think. You know, do it and mean it, bit of attitude. None of this sort of pretty crumbling business, big plonk of feta in the middle. And that is my perfect Greek salad. Delicious. to see you. Look at all these goats. Can I come in? This is a local priest, a guy called Nectarius, and he makes his own cheese. Cheese is a massive deal in Greece. So we're going to milk some goats, going to make some cheese, and then, you know, this is all part of kind of getting the Greek experience. So I just go from behind? Yes. Oh, trust me to get the grumpy one. All right, love, I bet I'll get a foot in the... You have to kind of like squeeze it from the top down and sort of pull it a bit. Here we go. I've got the action now. And you literally just empty it. It's like... I've never melted goat before. Okay? Well, no good. Can you pour this in here? Yeah? That's about as old school as it gets. So this is some milk over here that he did about 2 hours ago. Yeah, you can see how it's kind of completely firmed up. You've got the lovely curds there, and then you've got the watery part, which is the whey. What's really interesting now is that he's using his hand as a thermometer. Basically, he's heating the watery part, the whey up, and if it goes beyond the temperature that his hand can possibly stand, then that's going to ruin the cheese. He's taking out the curd now. Yeah, it's like little baby. Goes into the mould. The little gaps, all the water will drain out. So he'll put salt on top to season it, to help to preserve it. After about 24 hours, you know, that's ready to be taken out of the plastic mould, and that can just, you know, dry and mature for sort of a month until he wants to serve it. Brilliant. I hope after all that it tastes nice. Otherwise I have to be polite. They're just going to crack off the salt. So the salt just gets scraped off. You know, the salt does two things. You know, it seasons the cheese. It also protects it from bacteria again. It also helps and aids sort of that dehydration, that forming of the crust. Let's have a look at the texture of that. Wow. It's got that texture like a Lincolnshire cheese back home. Today we're going out on a Greek fishing boat, an old-fashioned one called a kaiki. It's beautiful. We've got some nets down. We've got all sorts of fish coming up here, different shapes and sizes. It's going to make a lovely fish soup. We're going to make a classic Greek seafood broth. It's called kakavia. In here already I've got, you know, chunks of potato, a crudely chopped up onion, a little bit of celery, 4 cloves of garlic going in. I'm going to put some parsley stalks in. So I'm going to put some bay leaves in, dried or fresh, but you know, I think dried are quite nice. 3 or 4 I'm going to put in. So I'm going to chop up 2 of these lovely tomatoes. And again, I'm going to cut it quite crudely. Just going to get that tomato in. Now here's the funky bit, right? Instead of using, you know, salt in their seasoning, we're going to use half seawater and half normal water. I mean, you know, you're never going to talk about taste of the sea. I mean, obviously you want to be in a country where you haven't got raw sewage going out. I've got to be honest, I've never done this. I mean, I've cooked lobsters and crabs in seawater, and that gives it a great flavour. But never something I'm actually going to drink. Right, I'm going to put about 1.5 pints of normal water. I'm going to turn this up. Let's have a look at the fish here. I think that looks like the one I got. So I'm just going to put it in whole. If you've got a really big fish, you can cut it in half if you want. This is called a weaver, and we've cut the dorsal fin off here, and they're like little pins. And if you trod on that, they're poisonous. I mean, I think, you know, back home in England, people seem to be scared of bones, you know. Oh, well, you know, and I kind of get it, you know, a fillet of fish, it's nice, you've got nothing to sort of muck about with. But the flavour from the bones is what changes everything. So if you can just get used to either cooking with the bone and then picking them out and then serving it, or just get used to sort of eating it and slurping about and picking it. I've added some dill. I'm going to have a little taste just because I'm so curious to see what happens to this seawater. The worst thing in the world I would do is drink seawater, but putting it in there with the potatoes and tomatoes that are going to suck that salt out, and it just tastes beautifully seasoned. Amazing. Just a bit of pepper. Right, so we're going to bring this to a simmer and then just let it tick along for about 15-20 minutes until the meat flakes off the bone. At this stage in the game, it's important to finish it with parsley, get some lemon juice in there, and the olive oil. You can just kind of ladle it up, serve it with bread, you know, sort of, you know, crude and sort of rustic. Or if you want to be a bit more pretty about it, you can take the fish out, flake the lovely meat off, get rid of the bones, put the meat back into it, stir it. Look in the ladle now. Beautiful chunks. And the bones tend to sink to the bottom anyway, so you've got a pretty good chance of avoiding them. There we go. What a great dish. Kakavia. Hold it up. Hold it up. Let's have a look.
It's a present.
A present? Let's have a look.
Take it back. Take it back.
It's like we call this a skipjack.
Yeah.
It's like a giant mackerel. It looks.
Look.
Hey, Friday Star. Thank you very much. I have no idea how I'm going to get it back to England, but thank you. Right, look at that beautiful tuna. Obviously, we never knew we were going to get that, and that's an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm just going to quickly fillet a piece of this tuna off. I can't say I've ever had the pleasure of doing this. I'm going to run my knife down the spine. You wait till you see the colour inside this baby. Right in the middle, and then right down this back spine here. You just wait. It's such an incredible, I mean, the tuna's such an incredible fish. Some of them are quite endangered now, but these ones, this is basically what we call a skipjack back home in England. Talk about being nice. The old Greeks, you know, the fishermen just gave us this. So I'm just going to wash this. And then I'm going to simply prepare it. Now, simple cooking of fish. People are so scared to cook fish properly. I'm going to get a nice little steak. If I go too thin, I'm going to miss the point. I'm going to go about 1 inch thick. I'm going to do one for me. All I'm going to do is season it with salt and pepper, right? Pat it with a little oil all over. And you won't get, I will never ever try tuna as fresh as this, probably for the rest of my life. Just going to season that from a height. Now, when you've got fresh tuna, right, often chefs cook it pink, right, or slightly underdone. And absolutely, I think that's the right thing to do. Although, if you're not into that, I'd say try it, because you get that silkiness, you get that delicateness that you won't get. If you cook it all the way through, it's like tin tuna, do you know what I mean? And, you know, if you're not into it, then you can cook it through. But this, I mean, what a lovely life in Greece, to be able to get a little boat, just rock up, light a little barbecue, grill a bit of fish. Fantastic. That won't take any time to cook at all. I'm gonna make a lemon sauce. Now, it's funny the way they call it a lemon sauce. I mean, I look at it almost like a dressing. Just squeeze it through your fingers into the bowl. You want the lemon to come through, so I go almost 50-50 oil and lemon juice. Okay. Pinch of salt again. And oregano. Let's have a look at this tuna. You can see the heat sort of starting to affect the fish. Right, so we've got the lemon sauce, we've got this beautiful tuna just grilling away. You know, if you want to know if it's cooked or not, just flake it. I really, see that little bit of rawness there? Right? I would take it off the grill now. I really would. Oh my Lord. It tastes like steak. That is so good. With this tuna. Get some of that lovely Greek lemon sauce with that wonderful oregano. That lemon juice is going to mix with all the juices that will come out of that tuna. Absolutely, you want to dip your bread in there afterwards, I'm telling you. I quite like the idea of just, you know, squeezing a tomato just over the top. Just squeeze it. I mean, just for that lovely sweetness. You can let it fall off, you know, onto the plate, no big deal. But I love the simplicity of that. Just leave it nice and hot. Put them on here. Get yourself one of these grilled tomatoes. Rub that tomato into the bread like this. And then I'm going to finish it with those lovely greens. Right, I've got these lovely bitter greens now. I've just boiled them and then just fried them with a little oil and onions. And I'm going to season those with that crazy, salty, hard cheese that priest gave to me. What I learned from him is that, you know, when it gets hard like this, they use these cheese, much like the Italians do with Parmesan, not so much as a cheese, but as a kind of seasoning. So I'm going to grate this over the top, just a little, and instead of putting salt on it, I'm going to put this wonderful cheese, and actually it's hitting the heat, and it's doing quite interesting things, lovely. Mix that up, a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm just going to have some of these wonderful mountain greens. Really nice. Just finish it with a little olive oil. There you go. You got those lovely crostini done on the barbecue, a little bit smoky, with the barbecue tomatoes, the greens, that little bit of cheese. I'm going to put a little bit more cheese just on top. Look at that. Brilliant. Serve it with half a lemon. You know, I've got my little addiction in life, my chilies that will be eaten just by me. Look at that, you've got the lovely crostini with the wild greens, the tuna, the best tuna I'll probably ever have, with that brilliant Greek lemon sauce. But look at it, look at the tuna. It's such a beautiful country, the food is so delicious. And yeah, the whole thing about Greek cooking, the simplicity, the olive oil, the citrus fruits, the herbs, the greens, loving them all but keeping it simple. Like, yeah, I dig it, it's brilliant.